Don't make me read poetry.
Oh, make you read poetry. Here.
Thank you. You need that.
Okay.
You're getting a lot of cooperation.
Yeah, what is this?
You just start. They'll come along.
All right, we're starting.
We're starting.
First of all, Ulrick and Rachel, thank you very much. All right, so we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna kick us off with a couple of newer poems, and then we'll get going. The Path I Build. I could have used the dusty gravel of their despair, or the crushed stone of tedium with its cardboard signs. I could have used the broken bricks of their lives as I could have used mine. I was making a path to a yurt, a place to inspire hope. I was making a path hoping I was making the grade high enough to drain the winter rains. I was placing stepping stones to provide a smoother path to hope. I was hoping for a graceful curve, a slight uphill slope, just enough to remind myself of the effort it sometimes takes to believe there is higher ground to go to. When the storm has gathered and the flood offers few paths to safety, never mind any kind of love. She felt the new migration. One day she woke up and said, "All the fish have turned over in the sea. They migrate into a new gravity." And sure enough, when the fishermen cast their great nets, the nets rose like hot air balloons in a sky filled with bones that flapped their tails. And just because Rachel did a he said, she said poem, I'm going to add one as well. It's called Incremental World. He said, I have an incremental heart. It breaks or heals in such small ways, I can't tell the difference. She said, there are only these pieces of things everywhere. Some people see the whole of themselves in the brokenness and can go about their business. He said, they must have such strong hearts. What kind of world is this that inches along in all its pain and joy? And with that, let's bring up our first reader, Mr. Stephen Blue.
All right. Yeah, it's nice to be reading. I haven't read anything in a while, so a couple of months, I think. So, let's see. As some of you know, I have a brand new book out called The Power of a Woman. I'm not going to be reading from that today because I will be featuring this book next month when I am actually going to be a featured reader at this event, finally. Starting off our third season with Charles Thielman. So the two of us will be reading next month. We hope you can come and join us. Let's see. As usual, I'm working on several books at the same time of my own work. One of them is combining memoir with poetry. Another one is poems about the process of writing itself. So here's one of those. To reach you, I want my words to be as beautiful as a songbird sings. Grace of a blue heron soaring in the sky. harmonic inspiration of guitar strings. I want my words to reach you down to your inner soul, the love that clings onto your heart, the feelings you can't control. And this one, here's one about heartache. It is whacked. When butterflies scream, no one listens, but the daffodils wither and die. When you left me, the white clouds stood still. They welled up inside and just cried. I don't need the bacon, I don't need the grease, I don't need the glass that has shattered the peace. I don't need the rainbows, I don't need the sun. I just need you, baby, but you're on the run. Send in the shadows that no longer hide. Even the lightning has taken a bride. Send down the showers of reckoning steel. Melt in the moment of heartaches conceal. Damn it all, anyway, what does it matter? It is hit, it is whacked, just fell in a splatter. The love that just melted or never was there. It begged you to differ, but why would you care? Thank you.
Next up, Lee Darling.
Good, can you hear me? Oh. Rachel was kind enough to loan me her copy of the book because I'm in this also. I have a couple of poems in here. So I thought I would read one on becoming a poet. This was written early on and then revised when I first started writing poetry. It's called Architect. I'm not the architect Dad wanted. I only built structures in binary. Now that I'm building structures in words, he wishes I'd go back to zeros and ones. Okay, and then I just have a couple of short things. This is not a poem. This is a comment or a short memoir or something. It's called Perhaps Love. On Saturday, September 1st, 2018, I listened to and watched the recap of two major funerals, Aretha Franklin's and John McCain's. After a couple hours sinking into sadness, I had to turn the TV off. I tried to soothe myself with music, beginning with Peter, Paul, and Mary, but that tipped me deeper into the morass. Not their music, but the memories it stirred. The memories stirred by it. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. I can't really. There, I can see it now. Can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay. So I grabbed my John Denver CD. One of the songs, Perhaps Love, has this final verse. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. I spent some time reviewing my intimate relations, but none stood out as the one. The next morning, my 75th birthday, I sat with a group of people who have chosen to trudge a particular path with me. My eyes opened. You can be plural. I shared with them that I'd grown up with John Denver, which drew a laugh. Well, he was born in 1943 like me, I said, and he sang from his heart after breaking mine. Often breaking mine. I recited that final verse of Perhaps Love, pointing around the room as I reached the word you. A week later, I tried to play that CD again. It hitched and stopped before reaching that beautiful song. No matter, the words are etched deep into my heart. That's it. And then this really short one that I wrote on June 19th of this year, which is the middle of summer. It's called Midsummer Dream, or Whatever Happened to Aunt Lee. She labors up the trail, backpack heavy with decades of travel on 2 feet. Her poles tick in slow synchrony with crunch of careful footfall. She pauses often to drink from water bottle and from sky. She reaches the crest, shrugs off fragile shrunken shell, fastens her soul to a passing dragonfly, and floats free.
Thank you, Lee. Next up, Sandy Scher.
Good.
We're not sure on that one?
I was the kid who always did her homework on the bus on the way to school. I was kind of doing that today. Things don't change. It's the same. I'm still deciding. It's like picking from the menu at the last minute. You know, I've got 5 choices. Which one will I do? This one's called Santa Rosa, and I wrote this one last year during the fires that everyone was escaping. Smoke, like a dark whisper, slithers up the canyon, more feral than the startled mountain lions who scramble for safety. This fire is a beast no one saw coming. Headlights flee a red-stained fog, racing through switchbacks, tender-bellied and panicked, leaving memory-packed homes behind to fight their own battles with these heartless flames. All tamed living things strain the thinning air of a school-turned shelter, and worried eyes squint at a midnight sun rising behind the mountain crest like a bitter dawn. See, I don't know if I'll do that one. Okay. I am the wind and you the rain. Our storm follows us down these many decades, blows a hole in the heart of our memories. Nothing escapes the bluster, no kind word or soft touch. Each warm glance quickly withdrawn, and the flame flickers. Only steam rises from the hot earth to mark the passing of another icy squall, and we face each other in another chilly dawn. That was cheery. I'll do something positive for a change. Let's try that. You who seek your own eternity, the ancients have left you clues in your DNA, on ocean floors, in fossils found on shale-bottom creeks. Follow these forgotten rivers and swim in your own memories. Ravens sing your story. Bare branches rattle the rhythm. Each heartbeat a reminder of your own power to carry on. This moon, your own flame, lit from sparks of stars. You are everywhere. You are everything. Rejoice.
Thank you, Sandy. Next up, Mr. Charles Thielman.
Yay!
Hi, good to see you all. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I've got some allergies going on, which make my voice sound really authentic and husky. I'll continue smelling the flowers. Or it might be red cedars in my backyard doing it. That would be a drag. But don't worry about it. So my reading next month, I'll be reading from this chapbook some new poems and some poems that have recently been accepted. Yay! And whatever else I feel like reading, spontaneously. I should mention, chapbooks started in the 1800s in London, chaps would stand on corners, guys, young men, chaps, and sell like an one act small book by William Shakespeare or his shadow, Christopher Marlowe, and other famous poets, and that's how they originated, and they've gone through all sorts of forms and sizes as well. But I think it's a great way to present poetry, especially if you got like 30 poems that cling together. And here's one. I have a series of poems about climate change, global warming, and its effects on people. I'm also an artist. Painting a picture of, their dealing with it. This is titled "Lightning Caulks the Sky." It's a downtown Portland Pioneer Square. Lightning caulks the sky. Clouds accordion and flash, a wet promise. Sweat and grime layered on skin, bones collecting thunder. City sidewalks overripe with police chalk. The night, thermal steam inside marrow as you press ice cubes to your throat and watch the midnight parade, sitting far outside Cafe Neon, dank cloth heavy on skin waiting for the glimmer robes of summer rain. And since we were talking about lovers, what poetry reading isn't talking about lovers? I have one here. This is titled August. Dawn soon carved by the shadows left by loss, and each layer of real and what we bring into each room. Windows painted shut, voices stymied by glass. On the street, the world starts in 15 minutes. Strap on your watch or right into this quiet as your lover rolls out of sleep, her thighs catching light. Dream-waxed eyes deep, she watches you as a doe, standing in long grasses and sun, watches an August streambed and sees wind grazing wave crest, clouds rooted in undertow. And I also read poems about working. I work jobs, bus driving in Portland for TriMet, driving Teamster truck in Chicago, and a few other union trucks, as well as out in Honolulu. So it was a really good break from Chicago in the late 60s. But this is not one of them. This is for a lot of women I've known. It's called Gathering Colors. Crows flying above the gray ribbons of tree-threaded fog, like the followers of Judas skirting shadow edge. Sunrise bends twilight below dreams as she carries waking insights onto a dune trail. Ocean-thrown gust, a coarse brush through her thick black hair. She's out on the sand, out from behind breath-fogged glass, and striding face first in the salted wind. An unstrung rosary of simple thoughts she releases along a tide line of agates. Her ribs like tuning forks around two hearts at 7 months. Her ribs like tuning forks around two hearts at 7 months. Sun slants, rainbow, and salt spray. Her breath is wrapped around a yellow sarong of light. She turns east into the park, en route to her oasis. Easel, fresh canvas, carrying opals of worship laced inside the contours of her belly. Thank you.
Man of all things cephalopod. Joshua Mertz.
Nothing tentacular today, though. By the way, Lee Darling, thank you for bringing up John Denver. One of my favorites. Trivia, his name is John Allen Duchendorf. And his agent said, we need to change that last name. What's your favorite city? Thank God he didn't say Stuttgart. Okay, I have a couple today. Emily Hill, who was here a few readings ago and wrote that wonderful book on political poetry, that anthology. I was inspired by that. I thought, oh, political poems, okay. What rhymes with Trump? Jump, dump, Trump. But they were more like views of the world. So I went home and wrote a political poem, and she accepted it. I was so jazzed. So I don't know whether I've read this or not. I hope that all of you have forgotten if I have. It's called The Greatness. Last night they took the poets away for speaking another truth, for being loud, for accusing those in power of deeds that can no longer be proven. The professors had already been taken, the historians and purveyors of critical thinking, bought, co-opted, or threatened, spirited away to a place of acceptable truths, ones approved by the true citizens, the ones who voted correctly, the ones who knew that history is not repeated, only improved on, something the historians would object to if they were allowed to object. The people of color retreated long ago to their enclaves of poverty, allowed small jobs among the true citizens, the ones who wrested from dark hands this great nation. Many had a foreign tongue. They dared not complain. They spoke a strange language, as did the poets, who are now gone, who must learn to guard their thoughts and be quiet, lest they be taken farther away. And there's been a lot of autobiography today, so I have an autobiographical poem. This is called, and this actually happened, it's called Dear Cat. Your tail is in my armpit, and it tickles. Also, I don't think you can get any cleaner no matter how much you lick, nor how vigorously. I'm trying to get back to sleep here, and you're not helping, oh marvelous fuzzy one. Maybe I should lick myself and keep you awake. Thank you.
There's an image for you. Next up, Paul Halupa. Did I get that right? Close?
You did.
All right.
A couple portraits today and maybe one landscape or skyscape. Fighting the dark. From the flight of the ball rises a leathery grace, caught in the growing shadows between the trees. The ball we toss is new glimmers with bright promise. The sound it makes entering our gloves satisfies. My son is 13 now, sinewy, raw-boned, strong. I smile. There was a time not very long ago when I did not think of him in those terms, but today he stands opposite me, hat pulled low on his eyes, throwing balls every bit as hard as I can throw them. We got a late start. Light drains from the cul-de-sac, and the sun, now sinking behind solemn trees, compels us to keep a clear eye. With every toss, his head turns to me, and I note the orange logo on the crown of the dark cap I bought for him not long ago on his birthday. On the quiet street, no words pass, just a choreography of forces. The ball, singing from his hands, slaps in my glove, and inside that music, I crane to hear a message. 20 paces is about the right distance for love. July 9, 1997. In the press of a warm July, I am cold, shiver in the chilled air of Lane County ice. I watch Carrie glide crisp circles on a rink through a silence unbroken by the canned rock pumped through the arena to amuse skaters. My daughter moves swiftly, artfully at home where others slip, stumble, balk, and topple. But to her side, I cannot ignore the box wired to a half-dozen electrodes, recording all the intimidating music of valves and ventricles. I try not to cry. She tries not to remember the fainting spells of the past 10 months, dark and uninvited. Tries not to remember the empty visits to baffled doctors and the long journeys home without word, the first hint of diagnosis. I try to forget the heart-stopping minutes which follow each untimely collapse. Sometimes forgetting seems the only mercy. Carrie is 19. 20 years ago, it was her heartbeats that made me a father, reduced me to love, to a delight for which there was no heart monitor or recorder. Then we played and laughed, and lifting her, place an ear to her heart and weep with the joy that was her. Carrie whirs by again, pleased. Is it mere courage, or in the twists and turns, pivots and postures, has she forgotten the box at her side? I wave as I can between toe loops and camels and axles, scribble a few lines, then glance away. Relieved each time, I find her upright, happy. I've learned to hold my breath. It is enough. In blue jeans and t-shirt, she crisscrosses ice, trying to be brave, being brave, finding grace. I do not want to hear a word about love, about parenting principles or codes. Instead, let me trace beauty's subtle edges, its intricate dance steps in life's give and take. For no word of love could teach me as much as the smile which curves gamely from her face. And now one landscape called Wyoming Winds. The magic of a Wyoming wind followed us from the slopes of Jackson and Moose to Fort Washakie and over the big Wind River summits to Landers, through the flanks of the Green and Granite Mountains to the junction at Muddy Gap and out to the plains at Rawlins, the sky everywhere, illimitable, an instrument of charisma and breath and music, and in the wind the murmur of another world. Through one stunning September day, Wyoming threw everything it knew how to throw at us. The whole of it. Tame mist north of the Hole, thunder south of Moran, a squall of sleet and snow east of the Absarokas, pale rains west of Jeffrey. But beyond the divide, arching like a dream from Medicine Bow to Casper, rose an image that must be conveyed in a whisper, a blanket of blue, I tell you, which defied a name.
We've got two more readers. Lanny Edenholm. Lonnie, thank you. Sense a slight adjustment.
I'm not overweight, I'm under tall. I just decided to name this one My Mouse Guest. And it's based on a very personal experience. The weather turned cold. His summer house sold. Guess it was to him a sign. So a cute little mouse in search of a house looked around and somehow chose mine. But to be really fair, I was already there and I was not prepared to share. Guess a hole in the floor was to Mousie a door, and once in he began to roam. But the silly dink took a left at the sink and so found a trap, not a home. Well, for hours I suppose, Mousie sank and then rose. Slippery walls, the source of his falls. He was trapped all alone in a hell, not a home, and no one could answer his calls. I came home at 3, just thinking of me, began to fix something to eat. Went to rinse off my knife, got the scare of my life, not expecting a Mousie to meet. I shouted, "Oh no, man, you gotta go," and hastily beat a retreat. I covered the guy then with the lid of my fry pan, of glass, the better to see. Told myself, be a man, develop a plan. Remember, you're bigger than he. Done. Here we go. Though the hour grew late, I, brave, took a plate, slid it under and so sealed his fate. With the door opened wide, I took him outside. I did not hesitate. I opened the lid, and out he quick slid, adventurous little midge. Inside, grabbed a pen, took a deep breath, and then wrote traps on the pad of the fridge. Because it was very serious and heartfelt. All right, this one is called I Am Not in Love with You. I am not in love with you. In love is steak, filet mignon, tender, medium rare. Petit pois, fresh, tiny peas, surprised with baby onions, and sour creamed, hot, buttered potato, baked to fluffy, close my eyes, melt in my mouth, perfection. Real butter on a warm, sweet roll, yes, crispy outside, soft, hot inside. White linen napkin, tempting. Chocolate almond, moist, crumbly, 6-layer torte. This is in love. You are a Big Mac. I'm not in love with you. In love is a 180-degree screen. Wrap around, sound around, all around, color drenching, knock me to my knees images, scripts that thrill me, move me, enlarge me, make me more. You, hold on. Are I Love Lucy on a 13-inch black and white screen with the sound off. I am not in love with you. In love is Rimsky-Korsakov, Capriccio Espagnol. Spicy, sweet, sensuous, nuanced, sexy. In love is top-down, summer day, warm breeze, sweet smells, trees rushing past in mysteries of green, moving, driving, with the music wrapped in, over, above, below, all around me. Multicolor streams of audio confetti blurring my vision, filling me, music inside of me, transporting me, transforming me into a soldier, a time traveler, a gypsy, a lover, morphing me into one weightless entity merged with the very air. You are 3 blind mice on a plastic kazoo. No, I am not in love with you.
And our last reader, Gary Rosenblatt.
Thank you. So I was told there's no foul language, but can I say masturbation? It's not a foul.
You
It's in
just
my
did.
poem. I know, that's why. It works for me. Okay, it rhymes with what I have in my poem.
Well,
so
then.
Does anybody here know Shauna Dean? She told me about this. She said, okay, I was wondering who might know her.
Good.
Yeah, so I rushed to get down here because we've been running around playing music all day. Okay, haven't read this. I don't know if I've ever read this. So, nettles sting my eyes as I reach for the braille of you, braille worn down from so many brushes, fingers to paper. Now I, V-E you, would L and C-Y again. That's my way of, because it's so worn down you can't read the words. I had to explain it. You are my punctuation, my paper indentation, my love invocation, my forever temptation, my self-annihilation, my dispensation, my new creation, my self-immolation, my discrimination, Sunday titillation, defibrillation, happy mastication, sole focus of masturbation, my eyes wide open dilation, my United Nations. It's a love poem. I'm not the man that I was before. I was taught love from above is the virtual door to open my heart and release my fears. But let me tell you one thing, my dears. The heart is the start of the love divine, teaching fear from the book is a lowly crime. That we are better and they're all sinners? Who is the loser and who is the winner? I'm not love sublime. It's not love sublime to teach suffering. If you listen up close, you can hear the angels sing. It doesn't take a church or any house of worship to turn a desert to paradise and remove the curses. Just open your eyes, whether one lid or two, and see the love that's inside of you. It all starts and ends there, the perfect truth, the love direction from your early youth. Your body's making music, hearts beating in time, and as you walk and talk, you're writing the lines, skipping to and skipping fro. You might not be clued in where you're going to go, but listen extreme to the internal scream that's beckoning you, don't you know? Flip that switch, scratch that itch, be a bitch if that's how you play, but just take a chance. Do this new dance, respect yourself today. Feed yourself just what you need. Don't bow down to the idols of greed. Spread the dirt, plant a new seed, and baby, you don't have to weed. See, the circumstances are about inclusion. Don't be sucked into this evil delusion about making everything pretty and A-OK while life is descending into utter decay. Play while there's time, do it every day. Drop, dip, and hey baby, sway. Yeah, I bless you, and I say it's okay to be who you are without delay. Don't be spending your money to avoid who you are. Distractions of self help lower the bar. Filling your life so you can barely breathe. So little hope, suffering this human disease. Why are animals apparently happy? They don't go on and on telling stories that are sappy. They live and thrive like the bees on a hive. Depression and worry are not their knee-jerk slide. So remember this when you're planning your day or planning your night. It's all okay to live in the moment and release your fears. Go on, baby, shed a tear or shed some laughter. It's all about the same. It's all the same. Emotional release will massage your brain, your heart, your skin. You'll feel renewed, maybe red or orange instead of a constant blue. I have one more poem. Now, I go to this thing called Singing Alive. I sing, and I love to sing. And sometimes what you have to do are things that are different. And one of the things in exchange, instead of paying for the event, they do work exchange, and is to handle the compost toilets. So I was on poop patrol. So that's why this is, it's not nasty, but it's, but the first line has to do with that. So that's my warning to you. Okay. And it's vegetarian food. It's all, hippie kind of, and flowers and everything's lovely. Okay. And I love the opening line. I smell my poop and it's divine, filled with greens and the fruit of the vine. I've changed my habits, what I consume. My heart has returned to the mother's womb. I inject what I feel is the best, not plugged into the consumer contest. I've decided to ease my mind and give my body a rest. I want to be in line with what I feel matters, not eat at McDonald's where my just slatters. I want to be, that's my, okay, that was only a few lines there. I want to be in a camp of health and reap the benefit of long-lasting wealth. I've been in countries with no pesticides where rivers run deep and forests are wide and my mind is free, unaffected by chemicals, and I'm surrounded by progressives and free-thinking radicals. So go ahead and push me, try to shake me from my core, and I won't be a Walmart or Kmart whore. I'm more prone to dance by the fire where I sweat and reveal my true desire. I'm not wanting, forever pleading. I am full, not forever needing. I am whole, not a laboratory rat. I am not this, definitely not that. If I was in a story of Alice in her Wonderland, I'd be the Mad Hatter with a cookbook vegetarian. I'd spin magic in my pot and invite you all to dinner, and you will see that you possess the power of the winner. So come on down, hold my hand, and come to a party. It happens daily in your sleep, and when you awake, it's hearty. Just spin and dance, do your thing without apologies, and live your life with love for all, for fulfilling what you need. And live in balance like an acrobat flying through the trees. The birds, they watch as you unveil a curious ease. Falling in love with what you know from birth is natural. You glide from limb to limb, displaying skills tactical. Every sense is tuned alive, feeding those around. You get so high, the spin is right, miles from the ground. And when you, some of you print them out, and I just write, and then I try to read my own writing, and sometimes it's challenging. And when you need that space to rest, the need to settle down, you give yourself over to the birds who ease you to the ground. And sleep for moments seems just right, thanking all that breathes, thanking all that lives with gratitude on the eve of night. We want, yeah, that's it. Thank you. I haven't done a poetry reading in a long time.
All right, well, there's another one next month.
Oh, okay.
October 14th, second Sunday, 3 o'clock to 5, Stephen Blue and Charles Thielman next month, so we hope to see you then, and thank you all for coming and sharing your words. Until next month. Thank you, Ulrick, and thank you, Rachel, very much.